Welcome back, everyone, to our podcast, One Gen Talks a Lot. My name is Andrea, and I'll be your host for this podcast, where we have conversations with various guests and explore their stories and perspectives in life. We are currently at our 8th episode, and we are nearing the end of our first season. So if you've stuck around for this long, we truly appreciate you, and we hope that you have learned something and you have gained from our podcast so far. So today, our guest, he's someone who grew up in Cameron Highlands, and now he's serving God full-time as the pastor of Ignite Community Centre. So let's give a warm welcome to Pastor Daniel Singh. Woo!
Yay! Okay, I welcome myself.
Yeah, that's the warmest welcome, I think, because you welcomed yourself. Right. Hi, Pastor. How are you doing today? How are you feeling right now?
This is my first podcast, so I don't know what to say, what to do, so I'll just follow the cue. But yeah, thank you so much for the leadership of the church, Kajang AOG, for allowing me this opportunity, and also Jeshroon and your producer. I really want to appreciate this. So thank you so much for having me over. As I always tell them, why get the old man back? But you all want to get the old man back, so...
Old man means lots of experience.
Yeah, you can see got white hair and all that. And I told Jeshroon...
Seasoned warrior.
Seasoned warrior. Oh my goodness. The seasoned warrior cannot fight already.
Experience.
Yeah. So as I tell Jeshroon and Pastor George, I say enough of Daniel Singh, but they say no, so alright. So thank you so much once again.
Everyone likes you, that's why.
Oh, cannot lah, dangerous lah.
So how are you feeling about this podcast?
Excited because the questions that you guys have arranged are something that I'm actually close to my heart, about the calling and about how I came how I became a pastor, but yet also at this time of journeying and walking through, and also hoping that some of the things that I share will help the younger pastors, maybe also some parents, and also for some of us who are already pastors as well, so I just pray that, it'll be a blessing to everyone in that sense. Thank you.
All right. So maybe before we proceed, would you want to introduce yourself a little bit to our audience who might not know you very well?
Okay. As I normally do in Kajang AOG, my name is Daniel Singh. I'm from the World Wrestling Federation of Malaysia. You can see my size. No, I'm not. All right. I'm married to one wife. I have one daughter. I've been married for almost 30 years. Wow, my goodness.
That's longer than I have existed.
Yeah, it's 28 years. Thank God I remember my wedding date. I was from Cameron's. Studied there until Form 5. Did my SPM. Then went to Bentong. Not Buntong. Buntong is in Ipoh. Bentong in Pahang. Did my Form 6 there. And then went on to University Malaya. And that's where I met my wife. And then after that, worked in the bank, from 1995 to 1999. Part of the older folks, if you're listening, you all will know the Y2K project. I was part of the Y2K project in my bank. And 1999, decided to serve the Lord by His grace until today. So it's been 26 years by His grace and mercy. Yep.
All right.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's a really good introduction. You gave a whole overview, like a whole timeline, chronology of your story. So that's really good. Yeah. So let's zoom into the different parts of your life right now. Let's talk about growing up in Cameron. I think it's a really nice place. My family loves to go there for holidays. So how was it like growing up in Cameron? I think you mentioned that you did a lot of you had like vegetables and cows and chickens at home. So what was that like?
Well, growing up in Cameron's in the 80s and going to Cameron's now is two different things.
Fair.
All right, because there was only one row of shops in Tanah Rata, and if there was a traffic jam, it was because my father was riding the bicycle. Because, he was really slow and he was right in the middle of this thing. Yeah, I grew up in Cameron's. Some people ask me whether there's a school in Cameron's. I say, yes, there is until Form 5. There was a school up to Form 5. I grew up in a family of 10. So all of them had tough lives, but they said I had one of the easiest ones.
Are you like one of the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Okay, they always say that.
Yeah, what to do? They always bully the youngest.
I'm the eldest.
So. Oh, okay. So my elder brothers had more tough life lah. You know, they had to. The older ones, I mean, those who are listening to this podcast, the older ones will know that, those days you have to pay school fees, even though government schools. So they had to come back and fill up lorries with sands, because there was construction and all that. So one lorry you fill up is only 1 ringgit.
Oh.
Those days. So when I used to come back, my kind of school life is very different from nowadays, the generation. My school life was, because we had a few cows that we took care of. We didn't have a huge farm like a lot of my friends had. We had a small little farm, some cabbages, some chilies and all that for us to cook at home. We had some chickens who would lay the eggs. So pretty much we were not from a very well-to-do, we were actually from the lower class side of it. So I would have to take the cows out to graze them and study under the rain with the umbrella, that kind of thing. And I still remember when I went back some years ago and I visited my church, and my geography teacher saw me and she said, "You are the boy who was under the umbrella, who was studying and taking care of cows."
Your
I said,
geography
"Yes,
teacher
yes,
is still there.
Yes, and she was still around. Her name is Miss Ng. So it was not easy coming back from school. In order to buy a char siu fan, all right, I had to work hard. And those days char siu fan you can get for 1 ringgit, 1 ringgit 50 cents. All right, so it was fun growing up. But I think one of the things I really enjoyed growing up in Camerons was I really had friends from all kinds of races. And we don't see skin color. So we could go into one another's home. I had a lot of friends who were Chinese, Indians, Malays, and it was fun because we would go into one another's homes, and we would eat whatever is cooked. And, it was a very strong community. So I really enjoyed that. And that was fun, and everyone knew everyone. There was respect, and we were taught to respect our teachers very much.
Yeah.
Nowadays you can't even touch the children, but those days,
different generation now.
Different. So it was fun. 80s is different. Now it's different. Now my friends ask me to go up to Camerons. I say don't go on weekends.
Don't go on holidays.
Go on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's so commercialized, lor.
Yeah.
So that's Camerons. I haven't gone up since 2-3 years ago. I can't remember. Yeah, but everything has changed.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So that was Camerons. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was somewhat like kind of, would you call it kampong life?
Yeah, very much kampong life.
All right.
Okay. You smell like a cow. You take care of cows, you got to smell like a cow.
That's only fair.
Yeah, all right. So if you want to take care of animals, you got to smell like them.
Yeah.
Animals don't smell good, all right? So, unless you take care of them and all that. So people take care of animals now. You got to bathe the dog, bathe the cat. We used to wash the cows. And that was fun.
Actually fun or?
A lot of fun. Because they will sleep in their own pool.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, but it's interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting life. Yeah.
So you lived that life up until you were 17 years old, SPM?
SPM.
Yeah, then after that you moved to Bentong.
Then I moved to Bentong.
Was it the nearest place that you could do STPM?
In Pahang, that was the nearest town.
Okay.
Excuse me. That was the nearest town in Pahang, so I had to go there. And Bentong was where actually things started brewing in my heart about the call. So I went to Bentong, lived alone, first time away from home, mommy's boy, so I was, all alone.
Yeah. No friends, no close friends?
Got close friends, but, mommy, so called back, and mommy was saying no. Because my mom was amazing, even though she was not educated, she just released the children once they were after SPM. Go and live your life. I think she was just tired of 10. So she wanted
10 is a lot. 10 is a lot.
So it's like, finally I can have my life. All right.
Some peace and quiet.
Yeah. So then I was serving in the church there because I got saved in Camerons.
Okay.
When I was 13. It was a very tough life as a believer. I think I've shared in some of the Kajang AOG camps and stuff like that. Just to a very short snapshot will be that I almost got killed for my faith when I was 16. When I was 15, I got chased out of the house. So when I finished SPM and I went to do STPM, Dad refused to give me money because of my faith. So Mom had to fight a lot for me. So I really didn't want to study anymore. So I had to stand for my faith a lot. And when I went to Form 6, I was on my own. There was independence. We had friends. But I think from then on, I got exposed. Because the other thing I have to explain is I come from different kind of denominations. I got saved in a Brethren church. Then I moved on to an AAG church. Then I started pastoring in an independent church. And now I'm pastoring my own church. So the thing is that it was a good experience. So when I was in Bentong, I got saved in Cameron Highlands in a Brethren church.
Yep.
And then when I went to Bentong, I was still with the Brethren church, but then I got exposed to the AOG church in Ampang. So that got me really excited, because prayer life was different, youth group was exciting, pretty girls, I was a young person. I don't think so. You all go think about all that, no? So, going there, getting involved. I was in church literally on the whole weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so, but when I was Form 6, I had to go back to Bentong. So every time I would come down to KL, be involved with the young people and my friends and all that, then go back very sad lah, very depressed lah. Because I have to balik, cuci baju, take care of your own
wash
self,
your own clothes,
that,
find your own food.
Then have to jaga your own food, all that kind of thing. So I was waiting for Form 6 to be over.
So when you moved to KL, it was something that you're just ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay.
I was ready to go with the church, ready to become a pastor, ready to serve God.
So there was no whole culture shock when you came to KL? Because Cameron and KL I'm pretty sure, is really, really different.
I think maybe because, so I'm going to say, I'm not so outgoing. I'm kampong boy. So stay at home, no, not much kakis, and then the kakis all are also not the kind who go watch movie lah, go out here lah, go out
Stay
there.
at home together kind of thing.
So, I'm a very good boy, not like my daughter. Sorry, that one recorded, so no, so, I was a very good boy, stay at home, 10 o'clock sleep early, that kind of thing. So, I was not a person who likes to adventure, explore, all that kind of thing lah. Thinking back about it, I should have a little bit gone into different parts of KL. Now KL is so big, you don't even know different parts of KL.
More places for you to explore.
Oh yeah, man. And when you drive into certain places, the traffic jams, God bless us all.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. So when I came into KL, was pretty much church, home, uni. And then along came the girlfriend. Yeah. So KL was interesting because most of my family members were here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I stayed with my sister for a while. Actually, I stayed with my brother for a while. Stayed with my sister, but I was so happy to come to KL. I was so happy because finally I could get involved with the church.
Okay.
That was my focus. Yeah. So that was the main reason why I was so happy finally out of Cameron's. That time no more missing mommy already, all no more out of the picture.
Independent life.
Independence, yes. Merdeka. We just celebrated, right? So yeah, Merdeka.
Yeah. In line with Merdeka. All right, so maybe we can talk a little bit about your calling, since you mentioned just now. I think you mentioned you were in Bentong when you started to feel God calling you.
Yeah. So what happened was when I was in Bentong, I actually went for a camp. And in that camp, I still remember this guy. I don't know whether he's still alive. John Webster. He was from a school of prophet or something. And he called me out in a meeting. And he says that God has called you as an evangelist. I got so excited. And then after that, there was another pastor there who, also called me out and said, oh, no, God has not called you as a pastor. I'm like, yeah, this pastor not listening from God, lah, So, that kind of thing. So I was okay with that. But the thing was that I got very excited with that. So as I said, I used to come down a lot to KL, and then I think one of my models was the youth pastor that time, and the senior pastor as well. And I saw their lives. I saw how they were living, and I saw the way they were serving, and the excitement to be able to preach and stuff like that. So when I used to come down, literally I just used to be in the church on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our church used to have Friday night or prayer meetings, and then Saturday youth group and Sunday church. So I got very excited about that. So after I finished my Form 6, I given up hope. STPM, my goodness, is one tough paper. Have you done STPM?
No, I did metrics.
Oh,
I was fortunate to be able to do metrics.
You are blessed. What they call STPM those days, they used to call it Sijil Tunggu Pinangan. Okay. So doing STPM, it was tough, man. I was like, okay lah, that's it lah. After STPM, be a temporary teacher or be a teacher and all that. But God had other plans lah. So my grades came back. I was shocked with the grades.
You did really well?
Not well, but I got into UM. So
that is really well, actually.
Not very well lah. Okay lah.
So when you were doing your STPM in Bentong, you had already received God's calling, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, was it something that you already had in your mind to work towards too? So after STPM, I'm going to go into ministry. Was that what you had in mind, or did you plan?
No, I was already planning that. I was already
Okay.
planning that because, I was like, wow, people leave after SPM, go Bible school.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, and 4 years in Bible school, then come out, be a pastor, that kind of thing and stuff like that. I was like, wow, after STPM, that's it. That's the end. Because before that I was thinking of doing the teacher's training thing. Then when I got the call, I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to become a pastor. So I remember going and seeing my youth pastor. And then I walked into the room and I said, I want to go Bible school. He looked at me and he said, no, go and study. I looked at him. I said, no, God is not speaking to you. Of course, I didn't tell him that lah. I used to be so scared of him and so afraid of him. So I walked out of the room very discouraged, very disappointed. And said, yeah, no hope lah, no point lah, this one lah, that one. So I walked out of it. He said, go and study. So my grades came out. Then my grades came out miraculously. Then I went to UM. If he didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have met my wonderful wife, Lord. Because it was in uni, I met my wonderful wife who came running after me. I didn't go for her. She ran after me. No. She's not here. That's why I can pull her leg.
I was like, that's interesting.
But then in uni, I continued that. So I continued reaching out. I continued, the passion was there, so I was very involved in the church as well. Okay. It was really something that I was very excited about. So I was ready after I finished uni to go full time.
What did you study in uni?
Thanks for asking me that. Okay, in uni I did single major on history.
Wow.
I did arts and social science with my grades. First, my brothers wanted me, my brothers wanted me to do economics. I went into the economics lecture, I didn't understand a thing. So I walked out and I said, no, I'm not going to do this. So I decided to do history major. And when I did my history major, my supervisor at that time, he said, why don't you do something on the charismatic movement in Malaysia? So my thesis was actually on the charismatic movement in Malaysia. It's called Perkembangan Karismatik di Malaysia. It was written in Malay. And there's a testimony in that by itself, because when the time for the marking came, my supervisor marked, and then there was another guy who needed to mark. Yep. And the overall coordinator was a Malay guy. So my supervisor gave me an A for my thesis. But the other person who marked gave me a D. The coordinator turned around and said, if the supervisor gave him an A, the minimum you have to give him is a B. So he was forced to give me a B, because what I was writing was against his beliefs. So I had a B. So it's until today, it's still in the university, in the library. Some people have asked me for a copy. I'm hoping I can get somebody who can help me type it out, and then I can pass it on. Somebody else asked me last week as well. But then from there, I was asked whether that piece could go into one of the books as well. But because it was primary source, I'm sure you're from university, we all know primary source, secondary source, you've done your research. So the primary source folks said cannot lah. So that was also part of the calling thing.
Okay.
That was also part of the exciting thing, because I was very interested in the charismatic movement and stuff like that. So after uni, something happened, in the church, and church politics and stuff like that, which I don't want to hide from. A lot of us who are listening also know there are church politics everywhere. As far as there's humans there'll be church politics. So I left my former church, and then I moved on to my church, FGA. And when I came to FGA, I just felt completely the calling was gone.
Oh.
Because it was a big church, I didn't know anyone. And I said, okay, Lord, have you really called me? So you must remember, by this time, there was probably 1989 to 1995. There's already about 6 to 7 years gone. God, have you really called me? So I said, okay lah, I'll get involved in the tertiary group, because I was from the university. So what I used to do, Andrea, was I loved doing this, and until today, I still try my best to do this. I used to go into the universities to visit the students. So after work, at 5 o'clock, I used to work in Bangsa, take my bike, go and visit the students in University Malaya. First college different colleges. That has built tremendous relationship, which is until today.
So you just visit random students?
Random students, go on visit on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and go and see them. Some got saved in that process. Some are pastors today, in that process. I'm a strong believer in visitation. So then my friend said, hey, Daniel, why don't you expand that a bit more? Are you free to do it in UPM? So I started doing it with UPM students as well. So, I started doing that, and then I got involved. The tertiary group was quite big, about 120 to 130. And then that's when I start saying, okay, let's see they have, because FG had 20 pastors plus. I don't think so, they need another pastor and stuff like that. So what happened was then the calling began to emerge again.
Okay.
Get excited again.
Okay.
So I said, okay, what's happening? So I was married, and 1997 I got married. And then one of the things my wife said that, she said one of the things that the Lord told her was she was going to marry a pastor. I said, are you sure? She said, yeah. Then 1999, to cut the story short, 1999, I was part of this Y2K project. And then the senior pastors and the pastor approached me and said, Daniel, would you like to come full time? Now, it's different when I was STPM. STPM, I was alone. And being a young person, you want to rebel, don't care what the family say.
You have
I
no
want to
responsibilities,
go,
no.
Now you're married. And then also financially, and then you just bought a car, and that kind of thing, and okay. So the first person to turn to was my wife.
Yep.
And I told her, I said, Sally, they have approached me, what do you think? She said, let's pray. That's what I appreciate about my wife. She's a really prayerful woman. So let's pray. So we decided. I said, okay. I said, this is it. Then the next thing was to ask my mother while she was alive, because for me, her permission was very important. She said, all along, this is what you want to do. I'm not going to stop you. Of course, my family came against me, because I finished my father's money, so to speak, on education. It's time for me to take care of the family. And being a pastor, it's not career. There's nothing much in career, advancement and stuff like that.
It's not very appealing to Asian parents.
Tada promotion, Asian parents, you don't, in 5-10 years time, where are you going? It's the same salary or maybe lesser, that kind of thing. So, but she said, she gave me the blessing. So it was time then to send in my resignation to the bank. And the head of human resource refused to accept my resignation.
Oh, they can do that?
Yeah, because I was one of the main persons involved in the Y2K. So, you see, I was so privileged because I used to rub shoulders with the bosses. I used to go meetings on Fridays with the bosses, big bosses, general manager, CEO, sitting down, explaining to them, Can you imagine? And you are actually going to climb up the ladder. And here God is calling you to do this. I say, God,
At this timing.
So the human head of the human resource came out to see me. He said, Daniel, can I go out with you? He said, you are very, very precious in our bank right now, and I cannot accept your resignation. So I looked at him. I said, let's meet again in 1 month's time. I didn't say we pray, because hard word, how to tell him, So we went back, we prayed, and to my surprise, in 1 month's time, came back, and then he told me, he said, okay, we accept your resignation. It only has to be God.
Yeah.
It only has to be God. So 1st of April 1999, I became a pastor. I have to thank my wife because she kept the letter, or else I won't remember. Okay, so letter of appointment, 1st of April 1999. I didn't even know I was a pastor until my senior pastor introduced me. So I almost fell off the chair. I said, my goodness, I'm a pastor.
Why did you not know that you were a pastor?
Because the setup was not like that.
Okay.
Because the setup I came from, they call you pastor so and so, here the setup is they just call you brother, or they call you by first name. One of the first things I did when I joined full time was drive a van. That's my job. Drive a van, drive speakers from the airport. KLIA had just opened, and go and wait there until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. The speakers come. Then after that, bring the speakers, put them up in the house, in the home that we had, and then after that, then go back at 6 o'clock, come back to work at 9 o'clock, and then the security fellow will see, hey, there's one scratch on the van, you have to pay. Okay, so that kind of thing. I remember once Andrea switched on the engine, all that came out from the aircon was red ants because the van was parked under the tree. All my white t-shirt was full of red ants. Whoa! Talk about starting. So when he introduced me, then I said, okay. So that was the beginning of the journey. And I'm really grateful for my former church, FGA, because it really taught me servanthood. And that is one thing that I think is missing a little bit today. So it was interesting when it all started off. It was a big church, and all we were doing was actually a lot of fetching people, cleaning up the church, on after events and stuff like that. So preaching and teaching there was, but not so much. Not so much, yeah.
It's a lot of serving.
More of serving, and that's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So you come in as a servant, because I think my best example was again the chairman elder, Dr. Koh. He was a servant. He was really a servant. Yeah. So that's how it started off. I hope, I don't know, maybe you're hearing a lot of my heart and my passion in this because I'm very passionate about this. Yeah. It's been an interesting beginning. Yeah.
So you just shared with us how you have been called to God, right? It sounds like it's been a very, very long journey. It started back when you were still in Bentong, studying STPM, and then when you actually became a pastor, it was many years later.
10 years.
10 years later.
10 years.
So the whole journey of being called by God, it took 10 years.
Yeah.
So reflecting back on that, what advice or how would you just sum up this whole journey of being called by God?
Oh, it's a lot. First of all, I'm also thinking to myself, am I talking too much? Am I talking too much?
It's fine, we still have time.
Okay.
You can sum this up. I'd like to hear a summary of this from you.
Well, if I would summarize, first of all, being a pastor is really about the call. All right? That's very important. You got to really hear God for yourself. And number two, the people around you also need to hear God. Yeah, it's pretty much like when I came out to start the church, my wife was clear that this is what God has called us to do. So you need to know that, because when you get into being a pastor, there is no, I want to say this loudly and I want to say this clearly, and I hope it's not edited. Don't go into it with the visions of grandeur. All right. I have a quote. I'm glad I just want to read that quote. And I think this quote, I wish I could have had this quote some time ago, but the thing is that I just read it recently, and this quote is really being something that I want to share with pastors and young people who are even interested, in becoming a pastor. This is by Bishop Stephen Neal. He said that as you enter on the work of ministry, you must seek the place of hardest work, greatest sacrifice, and the least recognition. And there you must be content. Let me repeat that again. He said, as you enter on the work of ministry, whether you're a pastor, whether in the worship team, whether in kids ministry, whether in any kind of ministry, you must seek the place of hardest work, greatest sacrifice, and the least recognition. And there you must be content. For me, this is important because when I started off as a pastor, I really wanted to have recognition.
Yeah.
That's human.
Yeah.
That's human. And I got a lot of recognition. I really got. I think because, people invited me and I had the opportunity to preach and teach and do camps and, across denominations and stuff. But I think the most important thing is that, when you know it's your call, it's a lot of sacrifice. And if you are moving in because you want to be recognized, then your focus is wrong.
Yep.
Your focus is wrong. Because the whole idea is, our focus is what? The cross. Jesus gave his best. He died on the cross. That's what he did. And that's why I keep saying this and I'll keep saying this. The Bible that I read today is different from the Bible that I read 10 years ago. Why? Because when I read the Bible today, I start saying there are a lot of things I'm not following Christ. There are a lot of things that he has said I'm not following. Last time I was just reading for the sake of doing, my devotion. But now he's reading and saying, hey, am I following this? So the first thing is the call. Has God really called you? The second thing is, are you ready for the hard work? Yeah, there could be in a place where you want to be associated to a big church and all that, but there's a lot of hard work as well. And remember, the third thing that is very, very important is that you're a shepherd. So coming from Cameron Highlands helps me much more with that because I used to take care of cows.
Is it the same as taking care of humans?
To a certain extent.
Okay, you heard it here first.
And one of the things is that you need to lead the cows to graze, and you have to bring them to a right place to graze. You got to wash them up. You got to clean them up. Of course, they produce milk for you, and at the same time, they eat anything and everything. All right. So the thing is, that's why you need to know your people.
Yeah.
You need to know your people. And I thank God now with my church. It's a small little community. Somebody calls it a cozy church. I really thank God because I know the individuals. I know their names. I know their children. Now I have pastored those who were in the university years. I've pastored those who were in their college years. They got married. I was privileged to marry some of them. They became parents. Now I'm pastoring their kids. And that's a privilege. That's a real honor. That's a real privilege. And to see them serving in the church as a family. On a Sunday morning, I see a whole family serving. One on the keyboard, one on the bass, one. So it's such a joy to see that. But that's about the call and to shepherd. But also the other thing is, which I think we talked before this thing is, there are challenges. One of the challenges that I faced is really, this has been a difficult challenge, and somebody who was closest to me betrayed me.
Oh.
And that was a very dark period for me and my family because we trusted the person a lot. And the person just not only betrayed in that sense, I will use that word, but then at the same time, influence others to do the same. But I suppose this is humanity. You know, even in workplace, you go through that as well. And, you know, to go through that period was really challenging, was really difficult. You know, and I got to say that a few things that is important. Yes, we can pray. But I'm glad that nowadays people talk about mental issues. And pastors, come on, let's face it. If you're listening to this, we got mental health issues. All right? And, you know, we also have. And I'm human. So I went through a period of discouragement, pain. So praying was one thing, but the other thing was finding someone that I could share besides my wife and daughter. And I could share. Now this is the part I was thinking of, and I thank God I can remember. I thank God the people that are around me were people who listen without giving solutions. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a place where I want to listen without giving solutions. You know, I think we are just engineered in such a way that we want to give solutions.
Solve the problems.
No. People just want to talk.
Yeah.
This goes for pastors, this goes for friends, this goes for anybody. You know, be a listener. Just be a listener. You know, and I think that's something that my wife has taught me tremendously. Because there were times where couples would come or people would come for counsel and stuff like that. I was ready with my solutions.
You're going to do this.
And my wife very gently will kick me on the leg and just look at me. And I got the message. Just listen. Just listen. You know, and also the other part about listening is, please listen with all your diaries. Listen with your eyes, with your ears, you know, with the way you're listening right now. All right? Don't listen with looking elsewhere. Look at that person's face. That person is pouring out the heart and, you know, the challenges that person is facing. You know, and I have been able to listen to some pastors, and this is the interesting thing. They tell me the same story 3 or 4 times I met them. Same thing. I can repeat for you. What does that tell you? That people want to be heard. That people want to be heard. I think this is missing today.
Yeah.
This is an element that is really missing today. You know, just to sit down. Because you see, when somebody talks to you and you listen, that develops trust.
Yes.
And when that trust develops, what happens from there is you build a relationship. There's a difference between friendship and relationship. And that's something. So, for pastors, young pastors, for us, we need to have these people. And one last thing, try not to be judgmental. I can see you nodding your head, yeah? I think that's something that all of us go through. Try not being judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their story, everybody has their challenges. And once you listen, they trust you, they start opening up more. You know, and when they start opening up more, that's where you have to be careful, not to be judgmental.
Because then it will break the trust.
Remember, I always go back to the story of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was climbing the tree. Jesus knew his name. And Jesus didn't say, repent. Jesus said, hey, I want to go to your house, let's have some mama. That's what Jesus said. It was a hot day. He was going with his disciples. He said, the disciples, you all go to the town first. He sat at the well. The women came. And what did he ask? He said,
drink.
Can I have a drink? You know, and that is something that's very crucial as well.
Yeah.
So I think we are going there. And finally, before I close, I do want to say something else as well. Being in ministry, I know that Asian parents, maybe parents around the world as well, I don't know, there is that concern that we have if our children become pastors. And the major concern is, how is the person going to survive? Well, I'm sitting down here, 26 years by the grace of God. He has provided for the food on my table, for the roof over my head. My daughter has finished her education. If God has called you, God will provide. So parents, I'm a parent myself, that's why I can talk about it a bit. You know, if your child is interested, release your child. Bless your child. Pray for your child. Support your child. I've been in a place where I've been in a place where parents have stopped their children from mixing with us as pastors.
What was the logic behind it? You mix too much with pastors, later you become a pastor also.
Exactly. You got the logic. So when we met them, they said, we are not allowed to see you anymore because our parents are afraid that we'll become pastors.
It's so sad.
The truth is the truth. So I'm real. All right. So I'm just telling you, as parents as well, release your children, and if they are interested to do this, give them a good education, and allow them to serve God as well if they feel that. Of course, if they don't, then no lah. They have to get the call as well. So for those who are interested to pursue this, number one, for sure God has called you. Number two, if you are from Kajang AG, go and see your pastors. Ask them to pray alongside with you. All right. Don't be a prophet of doom and say, the Lord has called me. No. All right. Go alongside. And if like me, you have to wait for 10 years. I waited. All right. And wait. For those who are already pastors and young pastors, well, let me tell you, don't look at visions of grandeur. Look at the cross, and, as you minister, the Lord will bless you. But at the same time, look at the individuals, of how you can impact individuals. You never know that individual that you're going to impact. You never know. And look at that. Don't look at the visions of grandeur, of how big the church is, what's the number, and stuff like that. God gives fantastic, great, invite me to speak in your church. But the thing is this, that at the end of the day, pastoring is really about shepherding, pastoring is really about caring, pastoring is really about knowing the individual. Like one of my friends told me, he said, a missing seat on a Sunday is not a number, it's an individual. And the individual is not there on a Sunday for a reason. And as pastor, we probably need to find out what's the reason. And for us, for parents as well, as I said earlier, release your children. If they want to do that, pray for them, support them. And for the rest of us who are pastors like me, who have been in ministry for a long time, it's a very lonely journey sometimes. It's a very difficult journey going through this. And I pray that you'll be able to find a friend who will be a listening ear, a friend who will be non-judgmental, a friend who will not give you solution, but a friend who will walk with you through this journey. So I think I've said enough.
Before we end, I just want to ask one final question.
Okay.
Because I think something that I noticed in what you shared was what you mentioned just now about waiting. In your journey of being called, about waiting, because like for you waited 10 years before you actually were able to become a pastor. So I think perhaps that's a challenge that a lot of young people might be facing, because when you're young, you're just really ready and you just want to go. Like you mentioned, when you were young, you wanted that, right? So I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, waiting. So do you perhaps have any final advice for young people out there who feel like they have been called, but they are also maybe a bit frustrated, or they're wondering why, I still have to wait, why is nothing going on? Do you have any words, any advice for them?
Well, from my own experience, when I first thought I would go, it was my youth pastor who said, go and study. Then when I thought that I was going to really go full-time after I finished my degree, then, it was the church that I moved on to, and all of a sudden I felt, no way. Then it came to a time when finally, after 10 years, I felt okay again. So, as I say again and again and again, a lot of pastor friends will also agree with this, it's about the call. And when you wait, in that waiting process, as I said, in that waiting process, there was so much of blessings that I received. What are the blessings? I found my wife. Okay. In the waiting process, I worked in the bank. I got some banking experience. I know what it is like to work in the bank. In that waiting process, most important thing, I matured. If I would have been a pastor when I was 18 or 19, maybe when I came out, maybe I would not be a pastor today. I don't know. I don't know, But maybe that waiting period, God allowed it. Yeah, Romans 8:28, everybody quotes about this. All things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. all things, good or bad. We all don't like waiting.
Yeah.
We all don't like waiting. But waiting is where God forms us.
Yes.
Waiting is where we listen to God. Waiting is where finally we know that, okay, God, when I was 1999, I said, all right, God, after 10 years, finally. You know, that means you wanted me to be called, but yet the time was not right. You look at me, you compare to people like Moses. Berapa tahun he waited? You look at Abraham. Berapa tahun he waited? You know, you look at some of these people of the Old and the New Testament and how many years, even people like Paul, before he
Yeah.
came out. You know, when he met the Lord on Damascus Road, he waited for 2 years, to 1.5 to 2 years before Barnabas went and caught him. Then we have Paul. Right? So, and you look at, this is the best thing about the disciples. All of them disappeared at the cross. You know, and what did Jesus do? Jesus went and saw Peter, what did he say? Do you love me? Do you love me? So, waiting is precious, but waiting can be very frustrating. So, again, when you're sure of what God has called you, and you have people who are praying alongside with you, then there are people who are journeying with you. Don't do this on your own. Don't do this on your own. Yeah? So, you know, like I said, the two people that was important was my wife and my mother. You know, and that was the important thing. You know, just to share with you, my mother, when she was alive, when she heard me preach in FGA, I saw her pride on her face. You know, and she walked towards me and she was so happy. You know, even though she doesn't understand English much, she went back and she told me, she said, people were listening to you.
Oh.
You know, and she said she was so happy. And that was the greatest, you know, one of the greatest joy. Yeah. I hope it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all for our episode today. Thank you so much, Pastor, for being here and for sharing. I really, really appreciate your sharing. I think it's been very inspiring, and I'm sure it will inspire all the people out there who are listening and watching to this as well. So thank you very much for sharing and for being vulnerable and open as well. I really appreciate that. And for those of you who are watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in once again. This is our 8th episode, so stay tuned for another 2 more episodes this season. We will be releasing again next month. So stay tuned. See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye!